Hey everyone, this is Tim with gymcrafter.com, and today I wanted to take a minute to do a quick product review for you. Now, I don't do a lot of these because I really believe in A, only reviewing products that you actually own and use, and B, only reviewing them after you've had them for quite a while and you kind of put them through their paces. But with today's product, that definitely applies. And in a previous video, you might have seen me unbox the Rep Fitness AB3000 adjustable bench. Now, I was real excited to get that bench, and I think you saw in that video, it looks like it's going to be a quality piece, and I'll definitely have a review for that coming down the road. But I wanted to take a minute before I sold my existing bench and give you a review of that, because even though I'm replacing it, it served me well for quite a few years, and I think based on what your needs are, it might be the right bench for you. So today, we're going to review the Body Solid GFID225 adjustable flat incline decline bench. This is the Body Solid GFID225 adjustable bench. And the way that it's folded down right now is exactly the reason I bought it in the first place. I didn't always have a space in my garage where I could just kind of leave everything out. For the longest time, my gym consisted of this bench, a set of adjustable dumbbells, a couple of kettlebells, and a few other things. And those things needed to be stored throughout my house or my apartment at the time and not be in the way when I wasn't using them. So I really needed a bench that folded up and got out of the way. So when I looked for benches, I looked at quite a few different options that did kind of fold down flat to store under the bed. And of those options, I really felt that this Body Solid bench was the best option for me at the time. And I've had the bench for several years. I've really used it a lot, both with those dumbbells and with the barbell setup. And I really like it. It's really served me well. Now, I don't need a bench that folds flat anymore, so I did replace it. But I gotta say, of all the benches that did fold flat like this was really the best option in my opinion. So let me show you a couple things that I like about it, a couple of things that I wish were different or why I replaced it. And this way you can kind of know if you're in a small, tight space or you're in an apartment where you need to fold your bench up and put it under the bed like this, that this would probably be the right option for you. So the first obvious feature of this bench is that it folds down flat. And the way that it does that is the foot right here flips underneath it. Now there's a little lever that you have to pull on the side so it doesn't lock, and that's one of the nice things. You just saw it unfold. If you want to fold it back up, just grab it by the handle right here, fold that back underneath, and under the bed it'll go. So that's the first thing that I like about this, and again, the reason why I bought this bench in the first place. Now the second thing I want to point out is this is what's called an FID bench. That's flat, incline, and decline. So as you can see here, it's in the decline position, and it really adjusts really easily. So what you can do is just pull this up, and there's a few different spots that you can see where the adjustable arm kind of locks into the base. So it's real easy to get it. It'll go all the way up to almost 90 degrees. It's not quite 90 degrees, it leans back a little bit, but it's enough to be able to sit up and do overhead presses or Arnold presses with dumbbells or whatever you might want to do sitting up. So another nice thing about it sitting up is it does have these handles under here which can double as kind of they're not really foot rests, but they're places where you can kind of secure your feet. It's also nice when you're doing decline work. Let me show you a couple things about this that I really wish were different and are some things that the Rep Fitness bench I bought to replace this have. So let me show you those. Now the first thing I'm going to point out is the seat. Now while the seat's a nice width, it doesn't adjust up and down. So when you're doing incline work, this, and you have the seat that's flat, you do tend to feel like you're sliding a little bit. And to kind of make that worse, while it's a nice quality material, it's a little bit smooth. So there's not a lot of grip here. So not only did my rear end not grip the seat real well, also didn't really grip real well when I was bench pressing and trying to dig my shoulders into the bench. So one thing I wish was different about this was I do wish that it had a little bit grippier material, but overall it's a good quality, it's well built. You can see there's no rips, no tears, it didn't wear through, it didn't dry out, so it's held up really well for a bench that's seen several years of use. Now the next thing I'll point out that I wish was different is this little adjustable piece right here. Now it's really not bad. There's a handle that allows you to kind of move this. However, if you just kind of let it do its thing, what you'll notice is that it starts to move off to the side and it doesn't seat real well down here. So you always have to make sure to kind of wiggle it or adjust it over. It's not a big thing, but it's just something that, it's a little nitpick that I wish was different, and on my new bench I don't have that problem at all. So that's one little thing. Now the bigger thing that I didn't like about this, and it's probably the one thing that was my biggest pet peeve about this bench, is while it's nice, it's got wheels. You can see down here, it's got wheels to roll it around. You kind of have to pick it up a little far to do that. But what happens is, when I set it down, it's not solid. So I actually have to kick out the feet. So if I can get this on camera. So when I roll it, and I set it down, what you'll see is it's not solid until you kick this piece out right here. So that's not something that I really liked, and I forgot to do that a few times at first, and then in the middle of the lift it would shift. So it's something that you just kind of have to get to know about this bench. You have to kind of make that adjustment if you are moving it around. It's not a big deal, but again, it's a little nitpick that I kind of wish was different. Now the last thing I'll point out on this bench is that it's a little bit narrow. The thickness is pretty good. My new bench is a little thicker, which I like a lot, but the thickness is all right. But the width really could be a little bit wider. I could probably use another ½ inch to an inch on either side would be ideal. It's not terrible. It's definitely a good sized bench. And again, keep in mind the idea of this bench is for it to be compact and store under the bed. So, being compact, lightweight, easy to move around, you're going to lose some size here and there. And that's really the last thing is, this is a nice sized bench. You can definitely lift a lot of weight with this. It's got a good capacity to it, so I wouldn't worry about it if you're pushing heavy weight. But if you're doing a lot of barbell work and you've got room to leave it out, a bench like the AV3000, which I had the other unboxing for, which I'll link that video down below, is probably a better choice for you. But again, in the end, all in all, served me pretty well. It's got good resale value, so when I sell it, I'm going to get most of my money back for it, which is nice. And in fact, I'll link another article down below that I wrote on how to get the most for selling your used fitness equipment. And that's been a nice thing is, if you buy nice as you upgrade, you can sell your older one and get a good dollar for it, and that goes most of the way towards paying for the replacement. So when you do upgrade over time, it doesn't cost you near as much. But overall, I think the final verdict on this bench, again, the Body Solid GFID225, it's a nice bench. If you're in an apartment, if you're in a place where you have a multi-use room where you're lifting in a room and you need to get everything out of the way because it's the kids' playroom, or if it's your bedroom or something like that, you need something that folds flat, gets out of the way. This bench is a great choice for that. It's well built, good fit and finish. It's lasted a long time, so really don't have too much bad to say about it. In fact, more good things than bad. So hopefully that helped you out, and until next time, I'm Tim with Gym Crafter.